Happy Friday! It's that time again. It's time for another 5 Things Friday. And this week, I'm going to be talking about 5 of my favorite St. Patrick's Day traditions. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Or are you looking for some new, fun, easy traditions to incorporate this weekend? Come back and we'll chat. I'm so excited to have you with me for another 5 Things Friday. We're heading into the weekend, and a fun, festive weekend it will be with St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day has always been a favorite of mine because my parents both have Irish and Welsh heritage, so cooking family traditional meals was always part of my childhood, as well as some new traditions that I've incorporated with my son. I can't wait to share them, so let's get right to it. Let's start with number 1. Number 1 is every St. Patrick's Day, we start our morning with none other than Lucky Charms. Okay, here's the deal. We don't eat sugar cereal in our house really at all. Our cereal choices usually involve things like peach mango passion, organic kashi cereals, healthy breakfast choices. Here's a big spoiler alert. My personal breakfasts never look like what I described Jules making in the Bakeshop Mysteries. I am a creature of habit, and almost every morning I have a bowl of date and raisin oatmeal with a banana. It's not quite on par with Jules making, like a luscious chocolate croissant or some sort of wood-fired breakfast flatbread. Every once in a while, I'll make something like that if I have time on a weekend, but my daily breakfasts are really boring. Nor do they usually include sugar cereals, but we splurge on St. Patrick's Day. Come on, you gotta have a bowl of Lucky Charms. Is anyone else a Lucky Charms fan? I look forward to it all year long. All right, that takes us into number 2, because this particular box of Lucky Charms has a leprechaun trap on the back. And that takes me back to when my son was in elementary school. He was in a Spanish immersion program from the time he was in kindergarten all the way through middle school. And so, he was constantly speaking Spanish. It was a program that was fully immersive, which meant that there was no English spoken in the classroom. Well, his first grade teacher, Miss Kimmery, hello, Miss Kimmery, if you're out there anywhere, was a huge, and I'm sure still is, fan of celebrating St. Patrick's Day too. So she had all the first graders make these adorable leprechaun traps and had this elaborate ruse for the whole classroom where they left and they came back and the leprechauns had rifled through the classroom and potentially stolen things out of their traps. I don't think they ever actually trapped a leprechaun, but it was so fun to hear all of these little guys and girls speaking Spanish and talking about leprechauns and Irish culture and Irish traditions. It was a great kind of experience of thinking about the fact that my son at a young age was really getting this amazing world view. When else are you going to have Spanish and leprechauns merging together? So, to this day, we've taken that, and the leprechaun visits our house.
Oh, Mom, look what he did!
How did he do that?
The leprechaun visits our house and sometimes destroys my son's room. We'll have to see if the leprechaun is still making a visit in his teen years. Spoiler alert, he is. Number 3, another favorite tradition in our house are festive green drinks. Yes, I know, I write a beer series, so you have to have a quintessential Guinness on Irish Day, or maybe a green beer. But because we like to celebrate as a family, I always like to have a fun, festive drink for my kiddo or myself. And for this St. Patrick's Day, that's gonna be a festive, easy, simple green ginger ale. I have a basic can of ginger ale that I'm going to crack open, pour into a glass that I already have with some ice and a straw. And then all you have to do is pour in your green food coloring and let it work its magic. Whoa, that's green. This is the perfect, fun, and very green way to raise a glass to St. Patrick's Day. Is my tongue green? Number 4, green velvet cake. That's right, I said green velvet, velvety and green. Jules first bakes a green velvet cake in Cot Bread Handed. It's for one of her friends who owns the Green Goblin pub down the way from Tort. And really all it is you're taking a basic red velvet recipe and turning it green for the holiday. Not only does a green velvet cake work for St. Patrick's Day, it would be a great option for April Fool's Day, even Christmas or a spring cake. All you have to do is get yourself some green food coloring and add it to your batter. I'm going to be baking this cake in an upcoming episode of my Tort Test Kitchen, so stay tuned because if you want to try to make your own green velvet cake at home, it's really easy. But in honor of St. Patrick's Day and our fun holiday traditions, I'm going to cut into a slice of my homemade green velvet 3-layer cake that Jules would definitely bake at Tort without a doubt. We will have this after dinner, but I'm cheating and I'm having dessert first. That is something that Helen would definitely say. Eat dessert first. Ta-da! Look at those lovely green layers. Green velvet cake. Oh, I got frosting on my hand. Between this and my green drink, I'm definitely gonna have a seriously green tongue. Last but not least on our St. Patrick's Day celebration is number 5, which is our feast. I am currently working on book number 11 of the Bakeshop Mysteries, which I think I have mentioned before. And this book is going to be a flashback. We're going back to the 1980s when Tort was at its origin. We're gonna meet Jules' dad. We're gonna see Jules running around the bake shop as a little girl. There might even be a little young Thomas cameo for you Thomas fans. And as I've been working on this book, I've been jotting down notes about recipe ideas as I go. And one of my favorite memories from childhood, as a child of the 1980s, was my mom's corned beef hash. So for book 11, I am kind of trying to revamp it a little bit, give it a little bit of a more modern twist, a Tort twist, if you will. So for our St. Patrick's Day feast, I have created Jules' version of corned beef hash with red onions and potatoes, of course corned beef, and the piece de resistance, boiled eggs on the top. I mean, oh, can you see the steam? Can you smell it? This is St. Patrick's Day perfection, in my opinion. We'll have some hash. We'll drink our green ginger ale. We'll start our morning with some Lucky Charms, of course, and then finish off with green velvet cake. I hope you have a fantastic holiday weekend, and I'm so excited to hear what your celebrations include. And if you have other traditions or Irish recipes to share, I want to hear them. As always, thanks for joining me for another 5 Things Friday. Be sure to subscribe to my page and click the bell to get notified whenever I share new videos. And most importantly, happy St. Patrick's Day!